In the last video, we tested the solution and were able to export a list of invoices. This does fulfill our initial requirement, but there are things we can do to make the report and the process of viewing or receiving the report even better. Firstly, I have a couple of changes that I can make to the database view and then to the custom object to give us access to more information. Second, we could create an accelerator report from our new information browser and order that to be created from the main menu. Lastly, we can have this report automatically sent to us rather than us having to go into the system and get it. There are a few different options to achieve that type of automation. So first, I wanted to show you what changes I've made to the various components to make the information browser work efficiently and give us maximum information. In the document type for incoming invoices, I've added invoice number, which was obviously missing previously and was bugging me a bit. As that is now a column containing data that we need, I've also added that to our SQL select statement in our database view. Here I have also added the client index for reasons that will become clear shortly. As I am now including these two extra columns of data, I also need to define their title, data type, and so on in my user-defined table. You can see here that I've linked both the client, index 1, and supplier, index 3, table columns to the client and supplier attributes. This allows the system to pass the client or supplier value through from our user-defined table to the relevant attribute master file and pick up all the information for those attributes. In the user-defined object screen, I have again added the client and invoice number properties. Now that I have a property representing the client, I can link it and the supplier ID to their system attributes. The linking of properties to existing attributes can only be done if a client attribute link is present. On the right hand side, I can now add code and text for those attributes because of course the linked master file contains the client name and the supplier name. I've also marked the client as being a key column. Returning to our Documents for Registration report information browser, you can now see in the results that the supplier ID is a blue link which will connect to the supplier master file. The supplier name is also visible because we added the code and text option to our user-defined object. Finally, if I go into the table customization screen, you can see that there is a connection from the supplier ID through to the supplier master file with all the information from the supplier record. So to summarize, if you have client or a value representing the client as one of the columns in your database view, you can then assign any other columns of data to their matching system attributes and therefore hugely increase the amount of data you can bring back into your report. One last thing to note here is that you need to ensure the report engine application is installed in order to have the export button available at the bottom of your information browser screen. If opening a report, viewing the results and then clicking export seems like too much hassle, one option is to create an accelerator template and then create a custom report that runs it on demand. I have created an accelerator that is linked directly to the information browser previously seen, and I have saved it with the name DFRR, Documents for Registration Report, in the Customized Reports folder. You can see here that I have created a user-defined report with the same report ID as my accelerator template. Once saved, a custom menu item is created. I've left it in its default menu position, but you can change it in the user-defined report screen under the Custom Menu Items tab. The ordered report is run by simply clicking Save and then opening the resulting report from your ordered reports. Search parameters can be added to the ordered report if you need to filter the results. This final section looks at how an API call can be used to get the results of the information browser and share them in a useful way. To get the results, we first need the report ID, and luckily there is an object called Information Browser Reports which allows you to find the report ID based on the report name. You can see the report ID for our Documents for Registration browser is 1136. In the API documentation or Swagger page, we can see the URL that is needed to get the results from an information browser. We simply need to plug in the report ID to the URL, send the request, and then look in the response for the report results. Once you have that information, it's simply a matter of what you do with it and with what application. Here I am using a Power Automate flow to perform a scheduled daily process. The flow runs the API request seen previously to get the report results. Then it passes the response to ensure it understands them. After that, the result rows are entered into an Excel spreadsheet in SharePoint. There are a couple of options after that. One is for a link to the file to be emailed, or for a copy of the file to be attached in the email. If I test the flow, you can actually see the spreadsheet being populated with the results from the information browser, and then a few minutes later, the emails arrive in my inbox. Here is one with the link. Here is one with the attached file. And here is one from another flow I created where the results from the API call are entered directly into the email as a HTML table. The thing to remember here, of course, is that this is just an example. Everything we've done, from selecting the data in the database tables, through creating the definition and custom object, and finally to creating the report and finding useful ways to share the information, can be applied, in theory, to any set of data in the system. I hope this series has been useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.